When setting up a fabrication area, it is important to barricade the area. The fab area will be identified by red barricade tape to control access due to the inhalation and physical hazards associated with fabrication. This will also give you the opportunity to verify anyone entering the fab area has the correct personal protective equipment on when they ask permission to enter. Barricade tags will also be required for the barricade. Each tag should state the date and time barricade was erected, hazards within the barricade, required precautions such as personal protective equipment, company who installed the barricade, and a name with contact information should someone need permission to enter the barricade. The barricade will need to be installed so that there are no openings to which someone could stumble into the barricade. Additionally, all sides of the barricade must have a tag. Next, we will discuss PPE that is mandatory to enter the fabrication area when fabricating fiberglass reinforced plastic or FRP material. Required PPE consists of neoprene or nitrile gloves, fire retardant Tyvek, a face shield, a respirator with P100 cartridges, and hearing protection. The fabrication area will contain fab tables, a chop saw or miter saw, and a drill press. Additional tools may be required such as a grinder, hand drills, or bandsaw depending on what is being fabricated. It is important to ensure that the fab area remains clean and organized. Special detail should be paid to tripping hazards due to the use of rotating equipment. Next, we will demonstrate the proper use of a drill press and miter saw. We will use a longitudinal brace for this demonstration. The brace has already been marked for fabrication. Measurements for fabrication can be obtained from fabrication drawings or by using a pattern on a repair job for the member to be replaced. It is important not to wear gloves when operating rotating equipment. If the glove was to become entangled in the equipment, it could draw your hand into the equipment, causing severe injury. Notice the employee is wearing neoprene gloves to protect his hand from fiberglass particles. However, these gloves will rip away if caught in the equipment. When using a drill press, first ensure the drill press is level with the fab table that the structural member is resting on. Ensure the drill press is center of the mark where the hole is to be drilled. When drilling through the member, you want to apply firm, steady pressure without forcing the bit through the member. If you were to apply too much pressure, you could damage the member or burn up the drill bit prematurely. When the drill press is not in use, turn it off immediately to eliminate the rotation hazard. Next, we will demonstrate the proper use of a miter saw. The first step is to determine the angle needed for the cut. On this brace, we will be using a 45-degree angle. Once the angle of the cut has been determined, move the base plate to the desired degree and lock the base plate in place. Ensure that the member is square and resting flat against the back guide. Check the position of the member's cut mark using the saw blade. Ensure your hands are away from the cutting area and begin your cut. Apply firm, steady pressure all the way through the cut. Next, we will briefly discuss how to read a tape measure. A tape measure will give you feet and inches. When reading a tape measure, within the inches, you have sixteenths, eighths, quarters, and halves. To read a tape in sixteenths, this is 1/16, 3/16, 5/16, 7/16, 9/16, 11/16, 13/16, and 15/16. To read it in eighths, this would be 1/8, 3/8, 5/8, and 7/8. Quarters, 1/4, a half, 3/4. In this clip, an employee is using a scribe to mark a FRP spacer to be drilled for bolt holes. First, he will use a tape measure to mark the location of the bolt holes he will need to drill out. Next, he will use a speed square to mark the center line of the bolts. He also marks the center of the strap on the center line. This is done so that there is an exact point that can be used later to determine where the center of the drill bit will need to be placed during fabrication. This is the finished product.